Ayla, Daddy Time Together. October 12th, 2025, Journal Entry. October 13th, Update. 8:42 p.m. Too much. I want to remember, but God, this one. I'm sorry I can't. 9:22, 9:58 p.m. Trying again. She cried bitterly, didn't want to leave, just wanted to ride her bike. I can't stop crying, like a death that keeps giving. God, my God, please. She wanted to ride on the bumps in between the parking lot and in front of the police station lobby. The time was just before 7, and her mama and grandpa had just arrived. She kept pushing for longer, and it seemed like the start of another Jerry Springer attempt by the devil. She pushed and pushed to keep riding. Then she'd ask her mom because I was saying no. I said no because it was time for her to be with her mom, and I told her I wanted to let her keep riding, but that it was time to go back to see her mama and grandparents. She really broke down. This was awful. I told her I didn't want her to go, I wanted to stay too, but that this was not our time anymore. She kept fighting back and asking her mom when I stopped her. I was scared to discipline her properly in front of my most critical audience, the two who keep using the protective order against Ayla and against our family's reunification. I did my best. I was calm yet assertive and firm. She kept trying to reason with me, then her mom, then me, both of us. Ayla seemed desperate. She cried so much and said she didn't want to leave, she wanted to ride her bike. She just wanted to ride her bike. She kept pushing, asking, trying anything to extend the moment. Eventually, I picked her up and held her in my arms. She was crying so much and just kept saying, I don't want to go. She stopped talking about riding her bike and transitioned to repeating that statement. I don't want to. Go. No. I want to stay. I don't want to go home. I want to stay. I don't want to go home. I want to stay. I tried to console her and gave her hugs and a couple kisses. I explained that our time was up and that she needed to go with her mom so she could go home and get some sleep. I told her I wished we could keep playing and that I didn't want her to leave. I said how much I'd miss her and that she could call me with her phone tap anytime she wanted. It was rough. I made a couple light joking remarks about her bike and monkey friends, which seemed to help briefly. I thanked her for the 2 drawings she had given me. I gave her the rose, a wild sunflower, and a geranium I had picked for her earlier and let her know they picked especially for her from our home because I love her. There's so much more. Can't write much more right now. An aside, I'm fighting against cyber abuse and sexual and other harassment currently while I'm writing this. These monsters are absolutely evil. As Ayla went with her mom to load up, I carried her transition items and backpack. Mom drove and Grandpa was in the back with Ayla. As Mom loaded her up, I asked if Ayla wanted her friends. She seemed to respond, but I couldn't tell who exactly she wanted. There was a lot going on. For clarity, I had Dad Monkey Friend and Ayla all day, and Ayla had planned on taking him. Grandpa tried to give me back Mama and Baby Monkey Friend, also known as Monkey Friend Family, who had been forgotten with a warm garment when Ayla was dropped off earlier that morning. Knowing she normally brings the family of monkeys together, I asked Ayla if she wanted them. She seemed preoccupied, and Grandpa was trying to disallow the items, as has sadly happened for several years. Additionally, the toys, or friends as she calls them, often end up in the trunk or otherwise withheld from Ayla. Needless to say, I make a point of it to try and allow Ayla to have the friends directly from me before separating. After the door was shut, I asked again through the window who Ayla wanted, and she mouthed, Monkey. Friend and Monkey Friend Family, indicating the dad and separate Mama and Baby Monkey Friends. Grandpa protested against any transition items Ayla's Monkey Friends at first. Then Grandpa took Monkey Friend, but not Mama, and Baby Monkey Friends. Mom just backed out instead and drove off. I said, I love you, and bye-bye for now to Ayla. She didn't really look my direction, or at least I couldn't see her look my way if she did. This is a nightmare. Rage melting to sadness, like a true death again and again. I've experienced death close to me, and it stings. Wounds heal, and eventually, even though there's always a scar, the skin solidifies. This is like a festering scab, ripped off weekly, reinvigorated, and filled with love and impending doom, but ripped and filled with dirt, and God, it's awful. The better the day, the worse the pain. People who have never experienced this cannot understand. I am aware this likely seems backwards, and I imagine those who've lost children, or parents, or spouses would call me insensitive for my comments. But unless you have experienced what I have in this situation with my level of heart and empathy, only to lose her again and again, try again and again to save her and us, and traditions grounding us and connecting to better days, and being forced to break promises because of a system that has supported this tragedy, the near removal of a child from her father, the opposite of the Solomon story in the Bible. God damn it, like a death. Nearly 3 hours and I haven't even gotten a hold of myself emotionally. Fuck. These words feel pointless and hollow. There is no consolation, no peace, no place for comfort, no antidote, no remedy, no pleasure to make up for the pain. My God, lema fucking sabachthani. My God, why have you forsaken me? If I didn't have her to live for, I would find a way to cease existing. I don't wish this feeling on anyone. God, forgive us all. This is hell compounded on hell. God, please comfort my little girl. Please breathe kindness into my wife's soul and help salvage something better than this. Jesus, 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 please end this. Whoever perpetuates this, have you no heart? When will you save my child? You can have what you want from me. Just end this. Please, I beg of you. I'm not Pharaoh. I don't wish anyone harm. I'm not trying to separate Ayla from her. Mom, I just want a better tomorrow for a little girl who's having a hard time. That would be enough. 10 p.m. We got pumpkins and ran into a friend of Ayla's today. I carried their dog back to the car, dog's name I can't remember, because there were lots of bad thorns at the apple farm. Earlier we went to the green and yellow playground and had a little picnic. There's more, I'm out for now. Rough moment for me when we first got to Apple Country and everything was way too crowded. I felt I let Ayla down. She said we should go to the house and play at the playground there. We'd driven so far, though, and wouldn't have much of another opportunity to go. I wanted to carve jack-o'-lanterns with the things I got from the Halloween store. We never made it home, so no time to do that. Also no costume try-on. We did, however, go back to get pumpkins and tomatoes at the U-Pick. We ran into Ayla's best friend and her mom in the checkout line. Ayla started waving like she really knew the little girl behind us. I didn't recognize them, but the mom did and spoke up. We met up after dropping off pumpkins and tomatoes to do apple picking together. It took the rest of Ayla and my time together, but it was so worth it to see her so happy playing with her best friend. Picked a few blackberries along the side of the road earlier on the drive up. Some awful. Kids started riding dirt bikes really fast and getting closer and closer to us. I eventually stood my ground using my perceived brute strength to show a bit of a, we're not getting punked by you fuckers. And they informed us it was their land. I said, well then just say that don't do this crap around my 4-year-old. They backed off mildly. We left. We had not found many berries, just a couple unripe ones. We were only still there to look at the river next to the car. A bit of a roller coaster day. The end, though. Nothing that powerful since Father's Day 2023 and maybe September 11th that same year. 10:23, 11:08 p.m. P.S. Kiddos and their competitions. Ayla's friend needed to have as many apples as Ayla LOL. I haven't spent much time with Ayla and real friends. It was refreshing to see someone else's approach and the relational dynamics. PS2. Found a new apple cider place, Solano something, only place open to get cider. I forgot to get Ayla a little apple cup bottle thing, but her hot chocolate cup did fine. Peppermint hot chocolate today. 10:26 first signs of okayness, mild calming of the nerves. 3.5 hours after drop-off. Not much, but something. Swells feel like they're still around, just a little numbed for now. I really miss her. I asked her what made her feel loved, after several probing questions from the love languages. Got me nowhere except that I was maybe interacting with a non-4-year-old daughter stand-in. When she asked me, I said, spending time with someone I care for and knowing I matter to someone. I stumbled through some things. Neither of our responses were thorough, and some didn't make much sense. One thing I realized I wanted to say, and was a bit ashamed of, so I didn't, was that it would make me feel loved to know she missed me, that she longed for me like I longed for her when we're apart. Tears again. I didn't want to be a toxic parent, so I left this out, but the thought was impactful, and I admit I hadn't much noticed that before. After tonight's experience, I'm not sure how to feel. Part of me is happy that she cares and that she didn't want to leave. But the more mature dad part in me just doesn't want her to hurt. That's also the main reason I didn't say the above to her in the car. It's a complex bag of emotions. Admittedly, Ayla's complete dismissal right at the end hurt deeply, not acknowledging me as they drove away, but it made sense, given the whole situation and, in spite of this odd Twilight Zone horror story I find myself in, Ayla is my daughter, and any conundrums or oddities are outside of my field of knowledge. Therefore, regular responses to childhood emotional neglect and alienation complex AF versions are still likely present and going to present in any number of ways from day to day, year to year. God help us. 10:37 p.m. Separately. Just before writing any of this, I became strangely aroused. Some weird response to grief, I imagine. I suppose this shouldn't be surprising, given the cyber and sexual harassment mentioned above. It's happened before. Mostly when things are too heavy, it's not a thought. But occasionally, this coping response arises as a potential and temporary means of escape, a desired alternative to grief and sadness, or booze or drugs, or fill in the blank with anything one might use to numb a particular feeling. Tonight I wrote, this doesn't also satisfy my grief, and often it leads to more and more writing without necessarily being a satisfactory outlet. Nevertheless, I ignored the feeling and shifted instead to writing. The feeling left just as quickly as it came. Writing took everything out of me. Tonight struck a chord a bit too deep, harder than losing Rainier, oddly by far. I'm not sure what that says, but it seems interesting in light of everything. Maybe I just remember losing Rainier differently. Maybe because I still had a wife at home who had compassion and a little girl also known as an intactish home at the time. This was during the weird 2-week quasi-roommate-ish return period in our marriage, post-separation. Tonight was different, though. Tonight I was alone, after being alone for much of the recent months. After setting all the necessary items down or in the fridge as necessary, I walked by the sink in the dark and just felt a nothingness. Like a true death, with no one to hug, nowhere to go, nothing to provide comfort, just a dark, hollow space, an unhallowed feeling. A sad emptiness filled my heart, devoid of expectation, lacking hope, full of potential, devoid of joy. No light since being home, the darkness seemed a bit easier on my soul. I miss her. I miss Ayla so much. She almost put her 2 fingers in her mouth like she used to for comfort. I saw the motion, but she stopped herself before doing it. I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing at this point. It was heavy, powerful to see. I'm so grateful that she's able to go deep like that, like me, but that also means her pain is likely capable of intense profundity. Without me around to help her through those feelings, she often seems numb or surfacey, like Adrienne described feeling during her childhood. That scares me. Mike is much more empathetic these days, but he's not me. He's still him. Adrienne is still Adrienne. Neen is Neen. I'm me. None of them can replace what I bring, for better or worse. But in this particular area, I know I can do shine. Ayla needs me. She shouldn't have to process this on her own, or with ill-suited half or non-parents. Sorry, that's just the reality. For all I suck at, in this one area, I know I can help her. We need help. It's not an ego thing. Sometimes girls need dads. Sometimes LOL, not LOL. She needs me. At least in this situation, she needs me emotionally. I can't impact her the way she needs once a week. This is childhood emotional neglect, possibly abuse, sure. What good does that assessment do? She needs me more than I need to win. She needs me more than a diagnosis. She needs me sooner and more than a story needs to be told, than others need to be saved, than the sky is green, blue, aqua, or brown. She needs me more than justice needs to be served. She needs us both. We are irreplaceable to her. Fuwu, we were early to pick up and drop off. I still don't think that matters most, but to Mike and the Geffens it does. So we did that. That's also why I wouldn't let Ayla push past our time too much. I wanted to give her more time, but it mattered more to be united in the process of this moment. Getting Solomon's vote matters less than her happiness, than my family's long-term well-being. We also need short-term intervention. I get how much I've screwed up, and I'm sure there are many who would say I don't deserve a daughter, or a family, or freedom, or life, or whatever. But Ayla needs me, and that should matter more than anything. I hope it does. I hope she does. I hope we do. Next week is my birthday hang with Ayla. Maybe there will be an issuance by the court before then allowing more time together. That would be wonderful. The deadline is in a couple days. I try not to get my hopes up anymore, but it would be so nice. Today was mostly good, except when it wasn't. The fall colors were beautiful. Hues of crimson, dark yellows, browns, and oranges. It's always a blessing to be with our little girl. Hashtag grief. Hashtag something in Thepsalms. I still love you. Hashtag serenity. Hashtag love.